And I think we're live. I have 4 viewers, I think. This stream is a lot more spontaneous than usually, and I think we're live. Oh god, I'm echoing. Yeah, I mean, as you can probably hear, this is not my usual setup. And this stream was a very spontaneous idea. I hope you can hear me. Here, this is not my usual setup. Yeah. I mean, this mic is god-awful, and the room I'm in has still god-awful acoustics because it's a new apartment and it barely has any furniture or carpets. So it's echoing all over the place, and this is streaming on a laptop over a mobile phone. It's tethering. A very hacky setup, but it works. So yeah. Oh yeah, we've got 2 viewers. Uganda Knuckles, as usually, welcome. And Bhutan Yilmaz, haven't seen you before, but still, welcome. Yay, with 2 viewers in YouTube thingy. And we're down to 1 again. you don't do stuff for like 2 seconds and the YouTube algorithm forgets about you. I mean, I hope this is public, but yeah, I didn't announce it properly. Sorry. But nonetheless, how did you appear in a random Ask Reddit thread where I mentioned InstantOS? It's using the Reddit API. If you look on the Discord, you can see in general that each time someone mentions InstantOS on Reddit, this bot sends a message to the Discord. That's how I just know about each and everyone talking about InstantOS, which is not a lot of people, so it's perfectly doable to respond to people. I mean, a lot of these are questions, so yeah, if it gets too spammy, then I'll stop it, but this is the way it's now. All right. So we have a bunch of stuff today planned. But the streaming utils, I think I'll move that to the bottom. We'll do that later. But I'll introduce an instant assist for selecting a window manager layout. By the way, is this understandable even? I mean, it sounds awful later. But I'll introduce an instant assist for selecting a window manager layout. By the way, is this understandable? Okay, it's it seems fine, but not that pleasant to listen to. Also, yeah, people sound really different on different mics. Like some people, like some early YouTubers, they sound really like not that interesting, but it's because of their shitty webcam mic. Okay, let's get into it. So we'll do an instant assist for changing the window manager layout. Let's see, I did something last stream, I think. Layout? That wasn't it, right? Nope. Oh, that's also an interesting one, but not what I wanted to do. Instant pick layout, there we go. All right. Moonpad user, hi. Hi. And then we should be able to do, let's just also build the window manager from master. Oh, what's that? I think we can commit that. This is gonna get us a merge, right? Nope, it isn't. Interesting. And let's just build this. Instant pick layout. So now let's just do float, and then this is floating. These are still left untouched as they should be. Tiling, TCL. Doesn't change a lot with just 2 windows. But this seems to be working, although I think we should remove overlay from this picker. But first let's hop over to what's happening. Oh, I was focusing the chat. Am I still live? Like, this internet connection is not that reliable either. That seems to be working pretty well. JS as usual. Also has the logo fixed here. Robert Sarkozy is there. Hello. I think he's called Robsky on the Discord, if I'm not mistaken. People are slowly joining the stream. And we've got a conflict. By the way, this is running in really early version of InstantOS, which is still based on Manjaro. I can't wipe this laptop because it's the only machine I have here. But I ported over a bunch of stuff. Like, it's not that different if I rebuild everything from master. I wouldn't recommend this to use it as a user, but being the developer, I think I have the ability to sort stuff out should anything happen. That's why Nano was still the default editor. Like, some of the root stuff isn't installed. Alright, but now that we've got this, let's push those. Where should we put this assist? I'm not really sure about that one yet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, what's L? L is a message. Oh, by the way, someone reported that. May I ask what laptop you're using? It's a ThinkPad E495 or E495. And I have a Ryzen version. I'm really loving the CPU. Like, this is really decent performance, especially for the price. And it's really solid build quality, good keyboard, good overall experience. I'd love to test InstantWM on my Void machine, but there always seem to be some dependencies missing. Where are you installing from? Like, are you just running build.sh on your machine, or are you running like the Arch-ish thingy? I'm not really that familiar with Void, but I think you can run Pacman on it, and if you want to do that, you can add packages.instantos.io to your mirror list and then install all that stuff from there, or just download the files from this website if you don't want to do that. Yeah, cloning the repo just gets you the window manager. Like, it doesn't get you the menu, the settings, the start menu, all that's in separate packages. So it's not really recommended to use the window manager without anything else. Which goes for any window manager, by the way. Instant Assist would be cool with center and verbose name. I'm not really sure what you mean by that, to be honest. It requests instant utils. Instant utils is also available here, but you should install all of these, to be honest. Like, they're barely 20 megabytes, including wallpapers and third-party packages like fonts and yay. It's not that big. Like, you could you could go without a lot of these, which is like, yeah, the whole thing is a few megs. Now that I think about it, I wanted to switch back to Arch anyway, so I'm gonna go with InstantOS this time. Ah, cool. Let me know how it goes. Like, yeah, keep in mind that it's still beta, but you seem, I mean, if you were previously using Void, InstantOS doesn't look like a step down in stability. Alright, where should we put this? What's in W? W was wallpaper. V is video control. T is settings. Screenshots, recording, calculator, and what's there? This is math. Maybe we need to open a new subcategory. Open file and text editor? No, probably not. Rename current window. Let's replace N. Like how you switched layout. Oh, you mean like make Instant Assist centered? I don't think that's that much of a good idea, since it's just meant to be like a little... I thought about making it completely without a GUI in the beginning. You shouldn't have to interrupt anything you're doing. Maybe I can add a separate mode for it, but I wouldn't make it the default. Like, I like it how it's very, very consistent with the top bar and then just taking its place. Also, Instant Assist has like hints right there. I think it would be too intrusive. Obtrusive? I don't know, too distracting. But I think we'll replace N. So let's just rename this to N for now and create the N directory. How do we move stuff with this extension? I'm not that familiar with it. Are there any difference in battery life when using window managers versus a desktop environment? Yes, I haven't tested it personally, how much it actually is, but a window manager saves a ton of battery life, especially when you're like working with multiple windows, and GNOME just takes so much battery out of your laptop. If you're not using Firefox and like 3 video streams at the same time, the desktop environment is easily the part of your system that takes the most resources, more than the applications you're actually using. So yeah, I mean, if you want to save battery life, a window manager is a really good way to do that. Of course, the display is also a very big factor in battery life, so turning the brightness down or using OLED and then some black elements in your UI is also a very good way. Can you add a settings menu for smaller tray icons? I won't do that now, but I wanted to do that for a while. Always forgot about it because I just read through the to-do. Let's search for icon. Tray icon padding. It's already on the to-do, but it's for 2.0 since it's not that much of a crucial feature. How much was the difference when you tested it? Yeah, I didn't test it. That's the thing. Also, how would you test it? Like, everyone has a separate workflow. But what is pretty recognizable, like, you can check how much power your CPU takes when like on 30% constantly versus like 1% if you open a system monitor. I mean, obviously I'm streaming right now, so that's taking most of the CPU. But if I was running GNOME, this CPU usage would be without streaming and anything open. Like if I just run the window manager with no other apps open, it hovers around 1 CPU versus GNOME being at like 20. On my old ThinkPad X230, GNOME 30 minutes, 1 hour DWM. or no, 30 minutes to 1 hour, and DWM 1.5 hours to 2 hours. That seems reasonable. This is a really interesting graph right here, by the way. Not sure what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, window managers are really good for saving battery life. How can I move stuff? Delete file or directory or move file. Oh. Whoops. Can I just do this? Yes, I can. Alright, that's interesting. Warte, du sprichst Deutsch. Yes. I mean, how did you recognize that now? Is it because the operating system is German? Or did I say a German word? Are there any power optimizations by default on instant OS, or do you recommend using tools like TLP or CPU Auto Freak? Auto CPU Freak. No, there's nothing pre-installed by default. I think if people want to do that, it has to be by their choice. But TLP, I haven't tested it. I have underclocked my phone a few times, since I'm never really in a situation where I need that extra battery life out of my laptop. I almost always have a power source with me, or like I'm not sitting there for 5 hours needing a laptop without any power source present. You have a distinct, unmistakable Deutsch accent. I mean, I know, that's why I was wondering why he took so long to recognize that I'm German. Netzwerkverlauf. Oh yeah. I mean, also this is German. I think my main machine is English because localization sucks. This one isn't. But actually his accent is pretty unnoticeable compared to my English teacher. I mean, compared to one I used to have two, but that's more a problem with the teacher. Tossif Muller, hi. Bau Kaiserheit, I don't speak that language, sorry. And hook, whatever that means. Okay, so now we have created this directory and we can, I think we'll just call it l.sh. Somehow every second English-speaking person on the internet is a German in disguise. Yeah, I'm not actually that sure how many, what's the biggest, I think Swedish people are also really big on the internet just because nothing is localized to being Swedish, so they learn English a lot and speak it a lot because also not a lot of people speak Swedish. Not sure how many Germans there are, but also like if you look at any group of streamers, there's usually a lot of people from the US and UK, of course, because English is their native language. But Germans are also, Germans and Swedes, maybe. Or maybe that's also just the corner of the internet that I'm most active in. Suggestion, add a dir in the config folder so users can create their own instances. I'd like to keep those separate, like there's the quick menu, which basically does just that, which also previously didn't really work. Apologies for that, that was just a typo. But there's the instant assist menu for anything pre-made, and the quick menu for your custom stuff. Hi, my understanding is that Windows can be resized by mouse, but the pick radius seems to be very small. Are there plans to change that? You can hold down, like this is, I shouldn't resize it in all the time, but you can hold down super and then right click with the mouse anywhere on the window and then resize it. And the thing about the pick radius, I assume you mean the radius when hovering around the window corners. This one's actually a lot bigger than in most desktop environments, but the difference is that it's only around the green border, meaning that if you have like multiple floating windows, I can only resize this using the mouse and nothing else, because it has the green border and I need to focus this window so I can resize it. So if I go, for example, do this and then this, I need to refocus this. Like this doesn't let me resize. I can only resize it if it's focused. That's to not interfere with any like tiling windows, or to not make it annoying for people who don't want to use it. But it's really easy to get used to. Like I also often resize windows with the mouse. And just remember, you need to focus the window before resizing. For some reason I can't run Discord. You mean Discord? I mean, yeah, try running it from the terminal. But I'm talking too much again. We barely did the first thing. Whoops. Ah, geez, I just crashed the window manager. That's not good. How did I do that? I did this, and then this, and then it crashed. Alright, I think that needs to be addressed, definitely. The bug is definitely in the show overlay function. Alright. Salmon overlay is floating equals 1. I think that should be it. Let's check back on the chat. I mean, changing the master size, for example. Oh, when they are tiled. I didn't read that. They can't be resized using the mouse when in tiling mode. Yeah, if you want total control over how they're placed, use floating mode. Tiling is not intended for that. I can't resize them horizontally when they're pinned to the left or right. The mouse pointer just jumps to the bottom. Let's try that. Well, it seems to be working just fine, to be honest. But also overlays are not intended to be resized. This is again, you need to use scratch pads for that. This is the scratch pad. It behaves a lot like an overlay, but resize to the left, alright. Also seems to work fine. But this is not intended. You can also do that. But this is not the intended use case for overlays. If you want like totally manual control over the overlay thingy, just use scratch pads. Overlays are deliberately kept simple. Drag the mouse horizontally. Horizontally is, yeah, I mean, horizontally, vertically. I mean, I can resize it in all directions. I'm not really sure what you mean. Pin it to the right first. Alright, I pinned it to the right. I can resize it like this. I can resize it like this. And like this. I mean, there's not much more. But I won't go into this too much because it's a use case intended for scratch pads anyway. Strange. Must be something on my side, thanks. I mean, yeah, you should definitely look into scratch pads if that's how you use overlays, because you should use scratch pads instead. Alright, let's try restarting and then try if it, see if it still crashes. Doesn't crash. Cool. It also is like massive now. I use GoTub usually in an overlay and resize it to almost half the screen. GoTub, I haven't heard of that. I mean, it's probably just another HTOP clone. But I was looking for a better HTOP. So let's give that a try. Seems to be quite large. Before I download the ISO, is it easy to change all the key bindings in bulk because I'm using a Dvorak layout, and something like the lang map feature from Vim would be really nice. There isn't a Dvorak layout and you can't yet change the window manager keybinds. That's one of the big things that is still on the to-do. Go top. I think I've seen this before. It also has network usage. This is my upload. I mean, yeah, it has to be. Although, why do I have more download than upload? That doesn't seem right. Nothing is better than HTOP. The thing is, what I really would like to have is something that has like feature parity with made system monitor, but it's not a GUI. Like this is really nice, I think. Or maybe it's just what I'm used to, but I like it. I tried installing Spotify, but I got an error to get, saying it was unable to get the GPG keys. Is this InstantOS or meeting AUR? Now, does this have to do with InstantOS not meeting in AUR requirements yet? No, it's an upstream problem. Arch has the exact same problem. It's a problem with the AUR and the Arch key server. You can just go to pkgs.org, type in Spotify, if my internet doesn't want to break down, and then under Arch Linux just choose one of those, preferably from a source you want to trust. I think, yeah, this one seems good. And then copy the link, download it, and there you have a copy of Spotify, which should work on your machine. Now to Git repository. And there we go. First item. Why is it not showing up my message? Latency. Yeah, YouTube has a lot of latency, which is also needed for buffering, especially with an internet connection as bad as mine. But I'm really happy to have solved that bug. So it was just really simple. I knew straight away what it was, and it just worked. Those things feel nice. We've got a few. There's another instant assist that I wanted to do. German internet connection is like sending your data per Amazon. I mean, the setup I have right now, this apartment doesn't have an internet connection yet. If it gets one, then there's some really good plans available, but at the moment I'm using mobile data tethering and having like an unlimited plan, which fortunately is, oh geez, I just closed the chat, which fortunately is available in Germany. It used to not be available a few years ago, I think. Why don't you use bashtop instead of htop? Bashtop. Is that wish? I heard that bashtop was discontinued. I just read a few things. Oh geez, it seems to be really slow. Like now it's resizing. Oh geez. This looks kind of slow, to be honest. I mean, it's understandable if it even has a gradient. Why does it have a gradient in here? What's the purpose of that? Really flashy, but what's it actually do? Ah, Jesus. The gradient moves. Why is it doing that? Does it have a tree view? Alright, I think I'm sticking with htop. Bottom. Oh geez, Rust. This is gonna take ages to build if it's not pre-compiled. Nope, it's not. Alright, let it build. It doesn't seem that long. Instant Assist Color Picker. We might already have that. No, we don't. I once saw a really simple color picker. What time is it in Germany? It's 17:34, which is like yeah, 5:30. Let's look for a good color picking program. Oh, I think there was the one I was referring to earlier. Whoops. Let's just search. This is really ramping up. Alright, that's it. You're done. Just link a color pick website. I was like, what I meant was not color picking from a color wheel. Of course you can do it with a website. But what I meant was picking a color from the screen. Doesn't seem to be anything there. Written for X11, seems to be quite low level. X22 might have had that. sure about that one. No, at least nothing in the manual. And now I should be able to pick a color. And let's take a look at what bottom is doing. This is very similar to bash top actually. It shows RAM and swap, network, CPU is kind of pixelated, but it's what you'd expect. Showing all my cores, sensors, even disk. This is really nice. It's also quite fast, like at least it's usable. A tree here would be nice, but I can use HTOP for that. But bottom is definitely nice. I think I'll add that to the I can't speak, to the default selection thingy. So now I have this, and then where's that coming from? All right, this one's, let's do this. Assists np.sh. Use screenshot tool to take a 1 pixel screenshot and get that color. Farge. Out of date. I think we'll just stay with color pick. Can you explain how to change default text editor from NeoVim or anything else? I tried putting the path to the program and it didn't seem to work. You go into the settings, then go to default applications, go to editor, and then change it to, like, for example, Pluma. And if I now do edit dot files, it still opens up in NeoVim because I have an old version of the settings. Alright, I fixed it in master. I think that even was previous stream, but it's not yet. It's not yet in the Pacman repos. Instance settings is hard-coded to use NeoVim. It used to be hard-coded. Actually, let's just install from master and see if it works. It works on my main machine, but let's just test it with this laptop too. Whoops. It would be nice if it used the editor variable. Maybe I can set the editor variable from the settings when you select the default editor. I think that would be a good. Do you think it will be hard to allow for key binding configurability? That's like the most asked question when that's going to be added, and it is kind of hard since Instant WM is based on DWM, which doesn't allow runtime configurability, especially for keybinds. How can I first update? You mean update from master? I wouldn't recommend that because in Git there's also some stuff that is still not thoroughly tested enough to be used by regular users. You could break stuff. I wouldn't do that, to be honest. I'm actually planning on implementing it myself. How are you gonna do that? Maybe you could add something like DW. That was actually exactly the plan. There's already Instant WM control. Instant WM, what am I talking about? Instant WM control, and then I can do, for example, tag and then 7, and it switches to tag 7. Recompiling the window manager upon saving stuff, I also considered that, but you could do a lot of stuff wrong with that. Like, it was one option, and the other option is to use something like Instant WM control. And I think I'm gonna go with the second one since it allows runtime configurability. And there's also the possibility to parse a dot file from the window manager itself, but I'd have to write the parser in C, or at least do a lot of stuff in C which shouldn't really be done in C, or maybe is kind of hard to do. GitHub repo is still hard-coded. Hard-coded where? All right. Whoops. Instant Assist Color Picker, archive. We've got a few Instant Arch things. Instant Arch is the installer. We've got some stuff in here. Ah, this is also the logo. In settings, default applications, text editor, custom, you can set any command as the default editor. I mean, yes, that's the plan, but I think the current version out in the Pacman repos has some issues with it, and it's also not set as the default Git editor. I can add that to the to-do though. Encrypted file systems. That's also on the to-do, but yeah, it's gonna be a while. I mean, look at this. I'm adding more stuff than I develop, so that's gonna have to wait. Sorry. What was I doing? There was a question. Oh yeah. Is BTRFS supported? No. Like, it is supported if you do it manually, but it's not by the installer. Someone posted a guide on Discord on how to do an encrypted home directory in InstantOS. I think, yeah, it's really far up now since people wrote other stuff, but let's see if I can find it. The Discord search is really... I mean, you can't tell me that no one ever mentioned encryption in Instant OS. So why is it not showing up? There you go. What's happening? Wrote a short tutorial on how to encrypt your Instant OS disk. I haven't tried this, but it seems to work for the person who wrote it, so... Oh yeah. Kind of... Who wrote that again? Oh, it was you, actually. Oh, that's you. Yeah. So let's go to Instant Arch. Right. Choose a home. Keeping data. If I menu -c keep current dot files. Keep dot files 1. I think that should be pretty nice. So now if people want to keep their home partition, which they can, they're also getting asked if they want to override any dot files, like if they want to keep their bash RC or have the Instant OS one. Because some people installed Instant OS and complained about their bash RC getting overwritten, so now I added that. But it's pretty complicated since you have to switch to a VTTI, log in, mount the encrypted files, then log out and finally log into the GUI. Yeah, I'll look into it when I get to it. But that's not that simple. Doesn't that incur a performance penalty? I'm not really sure how it works. Are you talking about Discord or encryption right now? There was another Arch thing. Pre-select iMenu values. That's quite a big one, actually. Yeah, encryption does come with a performance penalty since the CPU needs to decrypt data before it actually gets used. But I don't think it's that much of a big penalty. I think Android has encryption by default, and we don't really have a comparison for an Android phone that doesn't use encryption, but... Or maybe there is one, I don't know. But it doesn't seem too bad, considering Android is using flash storage. It seems to ban any comment with the dot in it, so I send it again. Settings.sh. It isn't anymore, I think. What's in here? Alright, it's also the logo. Flashing the Instant OS ISO to a USB stick right now. Cool. Oh, it actually is. You're right. Then maybe I did that on my main machine and didn't push it yet. Huh, odd. Let's try this. Okay, this one works. Let's just do it now. By the way, GG on the progress for Fire Incinerator is awesome. Thank you. And now it's using Pluma. Let's try changing the editor to NeoVim. Oh geez, nope, that's not what I wanted. Default editor NeoVim. And let's try editing the dot files again. And it's opening NeoVim. Great. Is it possible to fix the funny font issues on the first boot up after install, or would you add a message to tell the user to restart the computer? Maybe I'll make it auto restart after installation, but that's also like a pretty hacky way. Robert got censored. I think I'll add a message. Whoops. This one still needs some stuff in the auto start thing. Instant support GUI/instant assist. Instant support is also an interesting project. I used to use that a lot back in the day when the installer was a lot more unstable and people needed help installing. But I think I'll do that now actually. Quick layout switcher. I hate to have to do it to you, but I'm already past my, like, I need to do these first. Key focus option. Oof. A swap file option would be interested in the advanced settings. What's your IRL job, by the way? I'm still studying. Like, yeah, studying, I don't know what it's called in English, to be honest. And I'm also not sure if it's available in other countries, but it's computer science related, so that's good. What would a swap file setting do? Some applications require a swap file or swap partition, like for example VMware. Like for university I need Adobe, so I wanted to set up a Mac OS VM because I'm not doing Windows. And also I wanted to always try Mac at some point. And VMware, for example, requires a swap file. And yeah, some people also were a bit weirded out by the way it automatically allocates swap. So I'll just put that in the advanced settings. Tags not. This is nice how it generates tags. And it's also really fast. Ask advanced, there we go. Would you consider video in the future? What's video? VFIO. I've heard about that. Isn't that like pass-through? Yeah, it is. I don't have a second GPU, but I think I will do that at some point, since VMware also, like, it's really locked down. It doesn't want to run macOS at all. With QEMU it just works, but the GPU performance is awful. When doing an EUFI installation with manual partitions, you choose the EUFI partition, it says it will be wiped. Is that really necessary? Doesn't that stop you from installing anything alongside InstantOS? No, it doesn't. Since you can install anything and it'll just be added to the bootloader as long as the OS doesn't put anything important in. Whoops. Oh, hang on, I'm getting a call. There we go, I'm back. No, it's not OBS, I'm getting a call, like, on my phone. Yes, I'm okay. But I also wouldn't be surprised if OBS struggled with this laptop and internet connection. Actually, I'm not sure. It shows that it has a bitrate of 2600, which is higher than I'm getting at home. Actually, I'm not sure. It shows that it has a bitrate of... Let's try that out. Let's go to the stream and try moving around stuff. Let's try that out. Let's open up a window and move. Generate a lot of data for YouTube to handle. I think the upload is actually faster than with my wired internet connection. Would you look at that? Ah, it's still struggling when I move this around. But I think it's actually better than my other live streams, especially considering that this is not having the best encoding hardware. Like, it's just a mid-range Ryzen processor with integrated graphics. Huh. Let's go on with what's in the name of the stream. I can't sadly make... Oh, I just confused Discord with the chat. But this is also an interesting conversation. It's hard to maintain. There's no close maximize buttons as I know. I tried to set it up, but it's weird. I'm not used to it. I mean, there is a close button. It's right up there, like boom, closed. And there's also a minimize button. It's just clicking on the title. Like I can do this and then click on the blue button to minimize stuff and it minimizes. And I can also click on the red stuff to close stuff. Mine's 200 kilobyte per second. I mean, my downstream used to be 200 kilobytes per second. Why is Instant Assist under the power user features on the website? Because, I mean, some people aren't used to that concept. Isn't it supposed to make stuff easier? I mean, how would you do it different as a power user? Would you manually open up a terminal to change audio? I mean, yes, some power users do that, but it doesn't make them more power user to not use the GUI for that. Or some kind of pre-made script. When your upload is 1 kilobyte per day. Swap file option, that's what we were doing. Alright, let's just add a function here. What do you think about hiding vacant tags? That's already a thing. I forgot the hotkey. I think it's Super Alt Shift S. No, it's not. Also not this. Oh, it's Super Control Shift S. This hides all tags that have nothing on them. So yeah, that's also already a thing. The X resources colors can change the color of the battery display or the things to the right of it. The status bar is getting a rewrite. I mean, I've been saying that for the past month, but I mean, I've been busy doing stuff with InstantOS. We'll get to it when we get to it. Mouse over effects don't work when hidden tags are enabled. At the moment that's a known issue. It's not really an issue since you don't really need them. DWM doesn't have them at all, and so do a lot of other window managers. But it's tedious to implement that, so I didn't do it yet. But I will do it. Like it's a known issue. Echo systemd swap and the second option is swap file. Menu dash capital C, choose swap method, and also let's just add none to this as well. I'm kind of stuck in the installer at the moment. I switched to a terminal in the background and now I can't get focus to the installer. Like, what do you mean? The terminals, then just move the terminal out of the way. you can move stuff like if you have the terminal in focus, let's just pretend this is the terminal, then you can go up here and drag it to another, then you can go up here and drag the green indicator to move it to another tag. iRoot swap method This didn't work. This didn't work. I think this did. Kinda. Did this actually work? Yeah. It's cool how you interact with the community like this. Keep up the good work, man. Oh, thank you. I'm not really good at reacting to compliments. I mean, I can say thank you. Just know that I appreciate it, all right? I mean, the installer menu thingy, it's stuck on the middle of the screen and I can't focus on it anymore. To say, okay, I got my Wi-Fi connection now. Oh, the Wi-Fi thing is an issue. You should connect to Wi-Fi before you install. Never mind, I pressed escape and now it's gone. All right. Some parts of the installer grab the keyboard and don't let you do anything else, not even keybinds. You should be able to focus it by just moving the mouse around. Messing with stuff while the installer is asking you questions is not a good idea. That's why, like, generally using the operating system while it's doing root stuff in the background, I wouldn't do it, so the installer just grabs focus. Like, what would you even do if you could move it around? A lot of distros even have a separate live session for the installer so that people don't mess anything up. So probably, the installer is probably going to stay how it is. I mean, the same goes for Windows and Mac OS. They also don't allow you doing anything else during the install process. While it's installing, you can even use the OS, just not while it's asking you questions. What are your thoughts on distributions which handle updates as atomic operations like Silverblue, NixOS, Serpent OS? Would you consider implementing this feature? Do you think that Arch would consider implementing these features? I don't think that's, I mean, what it comes down to is that Arch is just Pacman and the repos and the wiki. That's the definition of Arch. It's not like a done product like Ubuntu. So if they would replace Pacman and the repos, it wouldn't be Arch anymore. Like there would be nothing left except the wiki, which also would have to be largely changed. So I don't think Arch would ever do that, since it would be just easier to move all developers to like NixOS or Silverblue. Although Silverblue, I think, was using something like Flatpak. I just saw a review video of it and nothing really worked. I mean, I know that these things are in early stages of development, but I don't think that Arch should switch to a model like that. Arch just puts the files there and lets the package manager manage them and doesn't do anything fancy, which is what a lot of people want. And also there is a NixOS part of InstantOS, by the way. Confuse on the Discord is working on it. I haven't really tested it yet, but he said that some people are using it and it should be usable. What exactly do the advanced settings do? They give you advanced options. Like choosing kernel, selecting extra packages, changing if you wanted to update the logs to ix.io, so that I can take a look at them in case something goes wrong, or just to debug the installer in general. Stuff like that. E.g. Silverblue video was kind of misleading, to be honest. Yeah, again, I just saw this video and it didn't make a good impression. I mean, so did the DistroTube video, but in E.g.'s case, he was using it like a normal desktop user, which DistroTube just didn't. He messed around with the config, which wasn't there, and installed it on a broken virtual machine. But I'd be interested in how E.g.'s video represented or misrepresented Silverblue. DistroTube's video is how I found InstaNoise. I mean, in the end, it worked out pretty positively. He made an apology video about the negative video, and yeah, he seems like a nice guy. Kind of crazy a bit, but so is Luke Smith and a lot of people in the Linux community. All right, that was an awkward pause. Let's have this and add this to the menu. Swap. Choose a swap file. Can we just talk about how COC has an awful name? Yeah, I saw a post on the Vim subreddit asking for people's COC configs as an example, and the responses were just full of memes. Like, it's kind of personal to ask someone to show their COC. Alright, this is just the config, so now we actually need to implement the logic behind it. And let's consult the almighty Arch wiki. When DistroTube reviewed your product, I got a little frustrated. He openly admitted when he reviews stuff that he's... I need to drink something. My mouth is getting dry, I can't speak properly anymore. He openly admitted when he reviews stuff that he already goes in with a negative outlook. I mean, yeah, he knew that it wasn't a product meant for him. But yeah, I mean, the DistroTube stuff, like, it worked out alright in the end. So let's just keep a positive mindset about that. Lamau gonna spam install InstaNoise in Luke's next Wood Talk video. LARPs is kind of similar to InstaNoise, but there's kind of a paradox within it, because it's meant for like power users who know a bit of C and mess around with Vim and config files, and at the same time it's not made for anyone but him. It contains a lot of keybinds and a lot of functions and configs that are really subjective and are purely his preference, and he still says it's for other people to use. which, yeah, is kind of a paradox, but I mean, if it works and if you want to use how he uses it, but it's even less configurable than InstantOS if you don't want to fork it. So you either completely do your own thing of the state that LARPS is in at the moment, or you go completely with what he wants to do. I use LARPS. How's it working out? I took a look at it once when it was still based on i3, and I haven't looked at it since. I heard the transition to DWM was kind of rough, but yeah, but bindings can be edited. You can edit them, but then you lose upstream support. You know what I mean? If you edit the bindings, then how are you going to update the system? You can manually merge stuff, but I don't think it even has that feature, since it copies them just to a home directory. So yeah, it's I don't know how it's really supposed to work. Like, you install it and then you're done, and how do you update stuff? BTRFS, okay. So there we've got the first problem with implementing BTRFS, but let's not worry about that too much. Systemd swap. Where's systemd swap? There we go. That's an shrewd. I think we'll do a manual script for swap. If iRoot swap method, then let's just copy this thingy. Also, let's move this up here. Or do this. There's a bit too much FI going on here. But yeah, this is fine, I think. Did you create these iRoot, iConf, etc utils? Maybe you could elaborate on them sometime. They're just key value pairs. Like, iRoot is using files and iConf is using SQLite under the hood, but they're really just ways to store values. Like, I can do iConf test 123 frank, and now if we read out iConf test 123, it gives us frank, and if we do something that doesn't exist, it gives us an exit code of 1. It just saves time when doing stuff that uses configuration. Instead of progress bar, shows step blah 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 of blah 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 would be preferable for me. Progress bars look pretty but tell you nothing. What progress bar are you talking about? Like Pac-Man? I don't think Pac-Man, I mean Pac-Man already shows you step X of XYZ, and the installer doesn't show you anything. I'm sorry. Just realized that it doesn't have that, so let's add that here. Instant Arch Progress Report. Disconnected from Wi-Fi and I can't reconnect to it. It seems to be stuck installing base packages, but I can't tell. If you lose internet access, then that's not good. You should install over Ethernet. Like, yeah, just, I don't know, move your laptop to your router, or maybe it's a bit more tedious, but it's definitely worth it to install over Ethernet. Tiberto Claudio Dascal. Hello, Paper Benny and all. Hello. I haven't seen you again before, I believe. Just came here to see to say hi and watch the magic happen. I mean, yeah, very magical swap creation thing. I need to go drink something really quick. Wait a sec. Be right back. Router is not an option because my parents are there, but I try over mobile network. I can really recommend PowerLAN. Like, it uses your internal electricity circuit thingy. I mean, unless your home is technically a separated flat, it's really good. Like, you can get wired internet basically anywhere with a minimal bandwidth penalty compared to especially Wi-Fi extenders. I don't know why everyone uses Wi-Fi extenders. Maybe they're just easier to understand than using PowerLAN, but it's really, yeah, once it's set up, it's really good. All right, let's get on with the swappy thingy. So for now, let's do this. I hope DD is installed on the live disk. We could go check that. Gave me like 0 KB. Maybe it's not. It only works in some homes since it uses your like normal electricity. So if your router and the power LAN is within the same electricity circuit thingy, it works, and if it's not, the power line receiver just picks up on random noise or can't really establish a connection since it doesn't have anything to go off. And maybe that's the issue for you, or you used a bad one, not sure, but I have one and it's really good. Okay, DD is installed, good. So, but do we need to create that first? Actually, let's just fire up a virtual machine. As if my poor little laptop didn't have enough things to worry about. Instant OS test. Let's add Arch so it auto detects everything. Yup. Let's do 16. The question is, do we have an ISO on this machine? Doesn't look like it. Nope. News is beta 2. Great job with the design and animations. Plain gorgeous. Ah, thank you. Yeah, like they really add some clarity, I think. But some people also don't like it. Yeah, I'm glad to have someone who likes it. Let's go to download. Do I have the... Yeah, the mirrors are all updated. I need to update file.coffee or contact the guy who runs the website. Let's see what the downstream says. Ah, geez. Oh no, this is not good. No. I don't think I'll be doing an installation of Instinoise on a virtual machine with this speed. Alright, let's take a trip down memory lane and fire up a really old version of Instinoise. Maybe I should close down some stuff to not push this machine too far. This virtual machine seems frozen. Even without animations, Instinoise is still amazing because it also treats mouse as a first-class citizen. Awesome. Thank you. How did you get your name? I used to make origami tutorials, like when I was 12 and all the way up to, I think, when I was 14, 16. Like, I think I had a 1-year pause at some point and then picked it back up again. But yeah, it's the first name I ever had on the internet, not counting the demo email that came with my first Android tablet. And I just kept it. I tried like switching channels to something else at some point, but a lot of people, including me, always come back to the first name they ever had on the internet. Like a lot of big YouTubers have the name that their mom chose for them in Club Penguin. And I also like the name, like I've grown fond of it. And I don't want to change it anymore. And people also already know me under that name. Alright, this VM is not doing anything. Yeah. Let's just create a swap file in our home directory. Maybe let's do home Benjamin swap file. This seems to work. By the way, the thing you did with the background's very nice, like the logo. Yeah, thank you. I even considered going like in that direction. Like I had an internship at an ad agency once and did some design stuff, and it was nice, but to be in that field you have to be really good because it's so crowded. So I went with computer science instead, but I mean now I kinda can do both with InstantOS, and what I'm studying right now also has some design elements to it. But yeah, like my Blender skills from back in the day, they really help me out now. You never know when you can use your motion graphics skills. Chmod make swap. Test swap file. .066 600. This seems to work. All right, so it does this. Let's keep it at 512 for now. We'll do dynamic size based on the amount of memory available. And I think we'll have to add this to fstab, which I'm kind of scared of because I've never worked with that. Oh, okay, this seems simple. Maybe we need to create the swap before generating fstab. Packstrap. Is this seriously? Oh no. Do I need to do, can I do this afterwards? Or maybe let's just add it to fstab manually. MKD swap. Oh, thank you. I mean, it's paying off to do this live. Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Not good, because Superman does good. Not doing that mistake again. So let's add this, and should we already activate it? I mean, I guess why not? And also, if iRoot swap method, let's make this a function up here since we need them multiple times. System gen system dswap. Whoops, open up the help system. Gen system dswap. Case iRoot swap method in what kind of methods do we have? Let's go up here. System dswap. gen system dswap, exit, swap file, let's do this as a function. Whoops. What's going in here? One reason to do live coding is people just staring at your code, finding typos everywhere immediately. I watched a Michael Reeves stream and everyone's just yelling at him what he's doing wrong. It's kind of funny. But also, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you can help me code, definitely do it. If you spot a typo, immediately scream. Went through YouTube looking for what PowerLAN is. Half of them were German. Yeah, the German tech scene is kind of weird on YouTube. Like, there's a lot of them, but a lot of them are also like mediocre quality. Let's stick to Europe, probably German for a start. Black Forest. I'm actually living near the Black Forest. Planning the first meetup. I think it'll be a while until we can legally do that again. Is a brightness indicator for the status bar planned? Yes. Like the status bar is getting a rewrite where you can add custom widgets to it and all sorts of different stuff. I already have a lot of plans and also know already how I'm gonna do it, but it's gonna take a bit of work, so be patient. Just about 5 years. Well, let's hope not. I just did the George Hotz thing. Hey, Christoph is here. What's Danube? Gen swap file. And then none. Exit. Anything else just defaults to gen system dswap. Great. You know what's fun? Watching the world burn. For example, making Windows look like Linux and making Linux look like Mac, then sharing it with random peoples and grab some popcorn. Donau. Why does it have? Why do people translate city names? They're just names. Localization issues. I like yeah, river names, not city names. Now we just need to replace the old swap with this. But I think I'll do that another time. By the way, this is the testing branch of Instant Arch, so you won't immediately get it, because I'm really careful not to break the installation process, because yeah, that just sucks for people who install and then it doesn't work. That can really ruin the reputation of the project. Flows through my... Oh, it's not a German name. All right. Yeah, right. It goes through multiple countries. That makes sense. If you set the top bar to 0, all the dmenu stuff still opens up on top. The top and bottom bar has some other issues too. Like some amount of code only is intended for the top bar, so I'll need to port that over anyway. I think we can archive that. And for this one, August Segedre? Is that German? Actually having a beer. What was that? What, August Segedre? Keep dot files, that was the thing. Oh, it's Hungarian. Hungarian? So let's jump to OS. If not iconf -r keep dot files, then fi. Iconf no dot files. What's your full-time job? Just a little curious. Ignore if you don't want to answer. Like, yeah, I don't have a job yet. I'm still studying. I think I mentioned that before. I don't know if you were in the stream already. Like, I don't have a full-time job yet. But yeah, it's I saw a post on the Bash subreddit as to what people were doing for their jobs. It was kind of interesting. Like, there were a lot of sysadmins, some people who did nothing tech related as their job. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm fairly average for people who are working on open source projects. Like, yeah, computer science students are a large part of people who are doing that. I don't have a wallpaper after second startup. That's weird. Are you using desktop icons, perhaps? You can try repairing your wallpaper from settings, appearance, and then wallpaper. And there is a repair wallpaper option or a generate new wallpaper. You can try those. You're not a CS, I am a CS student. Like, it's not pure computer science, but it is a computer science studying thing. I mean, wasn't it clear about that? Or is the microphone that bad? Can you add a setting for removing wallpaper? Just have the logo. I mean, yeah, probably. I can add that to the browse wallpaper thing. Discord, not Discord, GitHub. I think someone submitted a pull request for the thing we just committed. Nope, still broken. Alright, thank you. Oh, this makes sense. The testing branch already has this fixed. It's just master. It doesn't matter. I doubt it'll cause some conflict. Add option to disable instant.files. I think, whoops, we almost got everything sorted out here. Like still got some stuff left, but I think I'm gonna call it quits at this point, at least for the coding. I'll still answer some questions and then stop the stream for today. The women who watched me as a child were basically my substitute grandmother, who was Hungarian, so I have a very soft spot for the country and people. I didn't know that, but I mean, I don't know a lot of about anyone on anyone's personal life, which also, I mean, yeah, is not a problem. I'm also fairly anonymous on the internet. By the way, was implementing high DPI hard? It's something that Manjaro or Solus fails to do, but InstantOS nails out of the box. It wasn't that hard, because InstantOS doesn't have a lot of hard-coded sizing stuff. It is hard for Manjaro or Solus because GNOME is so messed up that it just misbehaves all the time. if you change DPI, like it's just, I think it's the fault of GNOME, and a lot of the desktop environments just don't seem to care. But yeah, it works pretty well on InstantOS. Right, bye, have a nice day. When are you streaming again? I don't have a set schedule yet. I think I'll get one in the following months when I'm growing more comfortable with, or I have a more set schedule with studying and stuff like that. I'm still in my first week. I just started studying computer science. What's it called? Let's just look that up really quick. I'll do it on my phone, since I don't want to accidentally reveal any internal tool information thingies. Can I change this to English? Whoops. I can't find it. But anyway, what OS do you use on your phone? Pixel Experience. I'm not ready to use a Linux phone yet. I would appreciate later hours too, if possible. Weekends. Usually I would also have, this is unusual for me to have free time at this time of day. so this probably won't happen around this time again anyway. But I'll see where I can fit it in. But yeah. Is there an Arch or AUR package for DaVinci? Yes, there's an AUR package and I'm using it and it works pretty well. At least the studio version. So yeah, that was the stream. I had fun, hope you had too. And I'll see you next time, whenever that'll be. Bye!